brings us to the agenda order of approval. Do we have any changes, Ms. Jansen?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to pull item number 2 from the business agenda.
Okay.
Item number what?
2.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the agenda order of approval with pulling item number 2?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Gilat. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second by Councilman College. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. That brings us to our announcements by our city manager, Ms. Jansen.
Yes, Mayor, on Memorial Day, there will be an Avenue of Flag ceremony hosted by the American Legion Post 1992 in the city of Gautier. It will be held May 27th, 2024 at 11 a.m. at the Veterans Tribute Tower. The Gautier Farmers Market will be this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the former Singing River Mall property. We've changed the location, and we have a lot of nice vendors, so it'll be worth your while to come see it.
Thank you, Ms. Nancy. That brings us to our business agenda. Item number 1, resolution approving the adoption of and implementation of the tax increment financing plan, Highway 57 Medical Arts Facility, Hotel, and Redevelopment by City Manager Ms. Jancy.
Yes, Mayor, this is the TIF plan. It basically sets forth the boundaries of the TIF district. The final agreement will be the reimbursement redevelopment plan, which I can pull. That is what dictates the terms between you and the developer. This just sets the boundaries of the district which you get to play in. The meat is in the reimbursement redevelopment agreement.
Thank you, Ms. Jancy. We already had public comments, and do we have a motion by council to approve the adoption of the implementation of the tax increment financing plan, Highway 57 Medical Arts Facility, Hotel, and Retail Development?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman College. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Jackson. Any discussion? Starting with Councilman Jackson.
Yes. Now I ain't gonna say too much. I know we gotta stick to what we're saying, it's just strictly on the tip, so I don't wanna say too much, outside of the tip. Just thank the developer for developing the city of Gautier and, trying to improve our city. For those that don't understand what is going on with the tip, there's a lot of behind the scenes talk that you are missing out on. And, I had the opportunity to speak with people, to address this issue of how, they felt. We was able to talk one-on-one. I also had the opportunity to, voice my opinion, and there were things that I assure you that are missing out, that has not been spoken in the public, that is missing. So I don't want to speak off term. This is strictly about the tip because that's what the mayor had wanted to speak on it. I'm gonna stick strictly on the tip, and maybe we'll get to the rest later or something like that. But like I said, I appreciate you for investing into our city, and I look for more adventures from other people and other investors that would like to invest into the city of Gautier. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Jackson. Councilman Gilat? Thank you. Councilman College?
Absolutely. Y'all bear with me here. I should be in there right now with my wife and daughter coming back from a family vacation. But because of the selfish turmoil created by the Jackson County Board of Supervisors, Singing River Health System, and the Chamber of Commerce, I had to change my itinerary at a pretty substantial cost to make sure I could attend this meeting in person. First of all, this development is a mix of retail, hotel, restaurants, other hospitality industry aspects, office space, and medical to the tune of approximately $48 million in development costs. This will likely be the catalyst for more economic development on the Highway 57 corridor, both sides, so it's used better for both Gautier and Ocean Springs. The controversy being created is over a small portion of this development. There's been a lot of social media back and forth, information being skewed, and even threats to city staff and council over the medical portion of this development. Gautier has no authority over this medical portion. It is allowed by right, in the city's eyes, by the plan unit development previously approved by city council. This is actually when these objectives should have come into play, was if you didn't want a medical ambulatory center, should have come during the plan unit development phase of it. Not now, when we're talking about doing tax increment financing. It's now up to the Mississippi Department of Health to approve a certificate of need filed by developers for the medical plaza. Despite this, the county and Signal River Health System continue to stir controversy which can have a very detrimental impact on the economic growth in this city. One talking point is how the doctors associated with this development have partnered with a for-profit hospital system, which can potentially take away from the county-owned hospital system. Let's be clear. Let's clear the air right now. There were efforts by the developers to partner with Signal River Health System, but those efforts failed to materialize because of Signal River Health System. I'm optimistic the offer made by those developers to Signal River Health System was very similar, if not better, than what may have been offered to some for-profit entity. For-profit entities don't normally form partnerships unless there is a profit margin, since shareholders don't normally accept losses. Signal River Health System could have been in a profitable partnership, which would have been good for all parties, but once again, that didn't happen. Let's make a note that currently there is no partner with this development. The Jackson County, let's see, in receiving this proposed TIF. This TIF is strictly for infrastructure. Jackson County Board of Supervisors and the Chamber have repeatedly stated that we are approving a TIF to a private not-for-profit hospital, or as an incentive of one. The TIF plan is solely for the developers, ATF, TIM LLC, Dr. Atlanta, and Dr. Hassan. If they partner with a hospital, it will only be for a business inside of a building they own. Another talking point for this partnership is infringing upon Jackson County and the possibility of loss of Signal River Health System due to competition. It's interesting to note that Signal River Health System has purchased property, renovated buildings, and opened clinics in Harrison County to compete with medical facilities there. We'd be very curious if Jackson County taxpayer funds were utilized for those clinics located in another county, where sales tax revenue and property taxes do not go back to Jackson County. What is the turnaround period for reimbursement of those costs? Competition spurs innovation. My wife was diagnosed with cancer about 7 years ago. Thankfully, it was the best kind you could have. It was surgically removed. The pulmonology staff at Signal River Health System was fantastic, but they unfortunately did not have the facilities that most benefit my wife. Thank goodness the pulmonologist was looking out for the patient by supporting our decision to seek other options, rather than looking at the money side and trying to keep us at Signal River Health System for a payoff. I'm sure the bean counters there don't like to hear this, but the medical industry should always look out for the patient's best interest. Because of this, Annette still has the upper lobe of her right lung and a full rib cage. Had we been pressed to stay at Signal River Health System, she would be missing her entire right lung and 1 to 2 ribs. If Signal River Health System is so fearful of competition and losing revenue, they're more than welcome to open their own facility. There is plenty of property available on 57. Bring on the innovation and the top-of-the-line technology. Let's make Gautier the cardiac capital of the country. But that's enough about Signal River Health System. Now let's shift over to the Jackson County Board of Supervisors, the Chamber of Commerce, the Chancery Clerk. They have been adamantly opposed to this TIF plan and this huge opportunity for Gautier. They have been very vocal about how the city is willing to supplement this development for infrastructure costs, which the city will own anyway: water, sewer, drainage, roads, street lights, etc., that normally fall under the city right of way. Here's a post from one of our board supervisors. I'm not going to name any names because he didn't mention any names. He goes, Gautier could convert 100% of sales tax to paying off the TIF bond. This means Gautier could go 15 years with zero property tax and sales tax from the development. I challenge you to confirm that with Gautier. Well, I mean, our TIF plan, we have a step rate right there. Gautier's TIF plan is a 12-year incremental plan on sales tax revenue. 50% for 7 years, 40% 8 to 10 and 30% 11 to 12, being diverted to the TIF bond, along with 15 years for only the increase in property tax. The property, as it currently stands, generates zero sales tax and very minimal property taxes. Any sales tax received is better than what we're getting now, and once the TIF matures, then the city reaps the full benefits of sales tax and property tax increases. Let's look at past in other areas of Jackson County that was formed by both Jackson County Board of Supervisors and Chamber of Commerce. All right, we're going to go into, let's see, let me get them up. Right here. Here's a good one right here. All right, where we got TJ Maxx and Aldi's right there. All right, there was a TIF bond tax there for, about $6.5 million. For 20 years, the city has diverted 100% of sales tax to this TIF bond. 100% of ad valorem increase to this TIF bond. The county, 100% of increase to this TIF bond for 20 years. So in other words, he said, if we do this up to 100%, the city won't see a dime. Well, here it is, black and white right here. Pascagoula and Jackson County aren't going to see one red cent from this development for 20 years. Here's another one, Pascagoula Ice House and Freezer House. $5 million TIF amount. Pascagoula pledged 75%. This is for a 15-year term. 75%. Ad valorem 100%. 65% for the county. County once again supported it. It seems that TIF plans are being utilized all over Jackson County. Hey, Ocean Springs is hearing one tonight. Is anybody from the Board of Supervisors over there opposing that?
How about a reply from the Board of Supervisors?
Mr. Taylor, we allowed you and we, in the public hearing. Councilman College has his comment period. We vote and we move on. We don't have back and forth. Go ahead. We're, the council is not.
It says they're all about TIFs and economic development, so long as it isn't Gautier. And I would say, the attitude portrayed by somebody on the Chamber of Commerce, one of the city employees, and to city council comments should never ever happen from somebody in that position. You need to know the background of individuals before slamming them in the social arena. The city employee that was berated actually has a PhD in economics and has been involved with TIF plans implemented in other municipalities. What was done is completely unprofessional and uncalled for. I'm happy to hear that the employee was apologized to, but it would be a benefit not to slander city employees or council in the future. It gives the impression that you don't have Gautier's best interest at heart, which is now already in question. Finally, as far as I'm concerned, Gautier is open for business. It's all about economic development. It's ready to improve the quality of life for the residents of the city. It's been a long time coming with lots of hard work, tireless hours, and 100% dedication from our city manager, staff, and city council. If the Jackson County Board of Supervisors, Chamber of Commerce, and Chancery Clerk aren't on board, they need to stay the heck out of the way. Go Gautier. Thank you.
There seems to be a little confusion here as to who the developer is. I know that Dr. Blanco is the cardiologist. Who is the developer?
I am.
Do you have a degree in developing or experience?
So, in my, again, with Dr. Tassan, and we have an excellent team surrounding us that guides us.
You're listed as the primary developer. Okay, got that clear. Okay, I'm in favor of any kind and all developments in the city of Gautier. We've needed it since I've been here 11 years ago. My concern is this lucrative TIF for the medical complex part of it that's described and proposed here with the document presented. TIF medical arts facility, hotel, and retail development. I tried to discuss this with some of the members of the board about this, that I could see being for the TIF for the retail part of it, but not necessarily the medical side of it. On this Article 1, proposing intent, Section 1.01 preamble, it reads, the project will be constructed in multiple phases. As further defined in this TIF plan, the initial phase of the project will include the construction of 13,000 square foot cardiac ambulatory surgical center and a 20,000 square foot medical complex. In future phases, it is anticipated, future and it's anticipated, that the development will construct an estimated additional 70,000 square feet of commercial space to include commercial retail sales, a franchise hotel, haven't heard anything about who the hotel franchise is, various restaurant venues, and other professional offices and related services. Additional phases are planned include commercial housing situated as an upper story or mixed-use residential to support the medical arts facility and its staffing needs and the development in general. Now, I don't see any guarantee anywhere in here that phase 2 and 3 will ever be built. Possibly never. No guarantee at all that phase 2 and 3 will be built, only phase 1, which is the medical part of this project. Somebody mentioned that 80% of this is retail. Well, we're only gonna see the 20% if that's the case. We're not gonna see the other 80% of the retail part of this project if it's never built. And who's to say they don't come in and build the other 80% also medical or hospitals or whatever? We don't know. It's not in the plan, it's not mentioned. We just know that the 80% may not ever be built. That's all part of the economy and how everything goes down the road. Okay. Article 2, section 2.01, project description. I'm not going to read the whole paragraph, but it says in the middle of it, included in the proposed TIF district is a total land development area of approximately 44.26 acres that is currently undeveloped. I think Dr. Wingfield spoke something on this a little while ago. That the whole project is not 44.26 acres, I don't believe. And generating minimum real and personal ad valorem taxes and no rebate sales taxes for the city. The primary development site will include approximately 19.5% undeveloped acres in the TIF district, as further defined here in Exhibit 2. Name of the developer is ATM TIF LLC, this is business, which is Dr. Adlocker, which he just told us is the primary developer. Even though he's the cardiologist, he's also the developer. Okay, he does reside in the city of Ocean Springs. The developer listed is Mr. Dr. Locker. Where is the study that was done to get the figures that were presented in the TIF finance plan? We haven't seen any study of where it comes from. Where's the study that gives you the figures that you gave us?
If you'd like, I can address, you've had a couple of questions here, I'll be happy to address them.
Can you address it?
Go ahead and finish your things and then we'll allow him to take one more call.
Article 2, section 3.02, financial benefit to the city and the community. Bottom of the page has a table. New sales assumption circle. Estimated gross sales defined above were provided by the developer, Dr. Locker. How do you come up with such an estimate on a proposal of the retail portion of this project? And there is no time plan for construction of phase 2 or 3. Could be phase 2 or 3 never happens. Mayor, I got a question for you. How will Ocean Springs benefit from this plan that's carried through?
The school district to generate ad valorem sales, ad valorem tax of $400,669.
Yes, and that $460-something thousand goes to the Ocean Springs School District.
That's correct, Mr. Anderson.
Now, tax district code 3860, this property is in the city of Gautier, but is in the Ocean Springs School District, which means the taxes after improvements will be $410,000. Strictly going to the Ocean Springs School District. Current tax unimproved is $24.10. So if we pay the TIF plan, meaning several million, and Ocean Springs benefits, the entire school system benefits from it. Okay. I believe June the 1st is the closing on this piece of land on Highway 57. and should have no bearing on this issue with rushing this TIF through on my part or anyone else's. Dr. Locker, you said and you've been planning this for 14 months. I've known about this TIF plan for a month and a half. I assume that the mayor and some of the rest of it have known about it a whole lot longer because both were there at the time I found out about it a month and a half ago. And we haven't had time to research and go through and look at what kind of impact it's really gonna have. I think we need to pause on this and hear more from the county officials and citizens so everyone can get a clear view on this before we go forward. I also think with Gautier having the largest footprint of undeveloped land, with pausing this and possibly finding land within our school district for this $460,000 to go to in the past school and Gautier School District, not the Spring School District. Like I said, I think we should pause on this and hear everything, because I've only got a month and a half to digest this. I think a couple more councilmen only got a month and a half, and some of them said several months. It's not right. The county has funded many projects in Gautier in the last several years. County Supervisor, Mr. Taylor, has supported us on dredging bayous, along with the rest of the county administrator and the county board of supervisors. Dredging the bayous, the massive upgrade to the Baco Park, our paving of streets, the Hickory Hill Bridge, the new Lamont Bridge now under construction, and probably the overpass of the railroad when the funding comes available. What we need is a pause with further discussion and constructive communication with the county, the doctors, developers, and all involved. Ethics. Anyone on this council, a voting member that has or had a patient relationship with any party in this development, I think they should recuse themselves from any vote pertaining to this development. Tip. One man has recused himself, and I don't understand why. Did he say?
He recused himself.
Ms. Yancey. Where is our city attorney?
He has recused himself.
He recused himself. And he has recused himself on this entire issue for the last month and a half that we've been talking about. And in my belief, we should have a board attorney, our board attorney, or an authority attorney, represent this council tonight to give this council legal advice on many of the questions. Another reason we focus on this issue was the complexity of the issue. Due to a conflict of interest, our board attorney has had to recuse himself of the entire proceedings on this issue for about a month and a half. Like I said, we should know the high likelihood of this certificate of need being challenged at some point, and do not want us to wind up in court of law trying to defend something that we had no legal guidance on during this entire discussion.
We're not
All
voting
of
on
these
this issue
documents,
tonight.
all of these documents have been reviewed by your attorney who handles this at Butler Snow. Every single one of them, and Steve Pittman. Every document, everything that has happened has been run by them.
So if we have questions in this process, like tonight, we can have an attorney to ask.
Do you have a legal question? Because none of what I've heard is a legal questions.
Okay. I think this is even more reason on this issue to pause and the governing body is selected and retain qualified legal counsel for the duration of this process. Let's stop and communicate with each other, county, developers, financial statements presented, we could suffer a great loss of the damage that could be done to our very own hospitals. Not to mention the tax levy, the county could impose on all of Jackson County to make up the several $1 million in loss each year because of this. That's all I got. I have a map here, don't I? You want to see it? It's proved that it's in the Ocean Springs School District. And here's the code, and here's Tennessee
lines, do you want to answer anything?
Just for a point of clarity, as it relates to the TIF plan itself. First of all, the TIF plan, what's before you, that this motion that's before you right now, is simply authorizing a legal meets and bounds description and a limit. The limit is up to $5 million of a bond. It includes a number of parcels that are on the site of this particular development and related sites. There are other interests in terms of further developments that may occur. The security reimbursement agreement, which is what Ms. Yancey just tabled, is where you are obligated to a developer for specific things. So you can put limitations. You can only get reimbursed on your property. This property owner, if they'll do X amount of development, you can leverage up to the $5 million limit. It's not uncommon for TIF districts to include lots of parcels to basically reflect where the city wants to see growth occur. But more importantly, when I said that the city can specify that public infrastructure, Dr. Latka's project may only need a 2-inch water line to support his project on his 19 acres. But the city may have an interest on the other developments that are going to occur in the area and say, you know what, we want to see a 6-inch water line run through there. Well, that's a bigger expense for him, and you can only be reimbursed expenses that are within the district, the legal meets and bounds of the district. So part of the land expansion is for that infrastructure need. I didn't draw those maps, the planner was involved in those maps, but they're included in the TIF plan. But the most important thing I want to address is the development. And I've done a lot of developments, I've been doing this for a long time, and a lot of hotel developments particularly. Number one, the developer will spend about 80% of that $12 million up front on the project, because that's all the stuff that's going to ground first. Can't get reimbursed, as I said when I was explaining how TIF works, until a building exists with the CO from the city that can occupy the building, and the assessors actually assessed it, and the city, through further proceedings of this board at the discretion of this board, determines how much and when they want to issue bonds, and somebody buys the bond, then they can begin reimbursing. Well, if he didn't build the other 80%, he can't get reimbursed from the lion's share of that bond. It can only be based on what's actually built, but he's still carrying the interest forward. And in terms of the development itself, things like hotels won't build. First of all, they're not going to come and tell you they're private business. It's like me asking you how you bake bread every morning. I mean, a hotel's not going to come and disclose their trade secrets and their things. They do have to come to the city and get a permit. You'll know the flag when that time comes. But the hotel's not going to start building a hotel until there's a road to the hotel. 74% of the occupancy of a hotel comes off the reservation system. So people coming and traveling through want to stay at a Hampton Inn, they've already made their reservations. The balance of it is people who are coming to this location for a specific reason. And so they're not going to just put up a $12 million, $14 million hotel when you can't even get to it until it makes sense. And so it's the same thing with Dr. Blanca. He can build this or you not build it. It has to make sense. He's not going to lose money in it. And the issue with the hospital, my doctor was one of the doctors that spoke up, and I was the guy that had the heart attack, and I got a whole collection of stents in my chest right now. I get it, but he can build an ambulatory system in this location right now, legally, absolutely. It has nothing to do with the TIF plan either. It's his right, he can build a business, and hopefully the hospital and the county and this doctor can work a deal. And by adopting a TIF plan, it doesn't prevent you from having deals be made. Continue to be made going forward. There's nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Lynn. I think that answers the question.
Wait a minute.
I have one more thing.
Wait, I want to say something in response to what you said, because I don't want the council or anybody else to get confused. You are not granting a TIF by approving this TIF plan. You are creating a district in which you can grant a TIF through a reimbursement, redevelopment agreement if you so choose. That is what you are considering. This is not granting anybody a TIF. So I just want to clarify that it's creating a TIF district with a TIF plan.
Limits.
So it doesn't obligate you to anything. Where the obligation comes is in number 2, which is what I pulled.
Do you think anyone on this council that has a patient relationship with this doctor group should recuse themselves?
I don't know, you said you needed an attorney. Oh, you have to ask an attorney.
That's what I said, I'm gonna do, I don't have it here. That'll be up
That's
to
actually an ethics
That'll be up to Mayor Edwards,
commission
I don't
question.
see any ethics conflict, considering I've seen multiple doctors I've seen everywhere else.
I know, but you had, here 2 or 3 meetings ago with your whole family here, and you were discussing how good he treats your family, and I don't doubt that, I'm sure he's a good doctor.
Has nothing to do with this. Can we
Hey, this
move
has
on?
nothing, y'all, this has nothing to do with that, Mr. Anderson. I'm not employed by or work for the developers. Any other comments?
That's all.
Mr. Eldon, any other comment? Do you have any comments?
Yes. I had the opportunity to sit down with members of the Singing River Board, about the hospital system. I had the opportunity to sit down with members of the board of Singing River Health System. And I want to thank you for that opportunity, because it was informative. I reached out, or talked to y'all, or attended the meeting based on trying to get information from your side, to understand what y'all are thinking about. Most importantly, I spoke with my neighbors and the residents of my ward and the residents of our community outside of my ward, but in other wards, but have a vested interest in our city. And these citizens that I spoke to, they trusted me to act in their best interest as it relates to the city issues. And what Mrs. Stacy Ladner said, we have a responsibility to our citizens here in the city limits. They're the ones who put us in this position, and we have to listen. We have an obligation to hear their voice. And that's where I'm here to bring it to this forum, to let you know this is their voice. I'm not completely convinced that this is the best option, giving up this much tax incentive over such a long period of time. But being a 31-year employee and a resident of the city, my fear is that if we miss this opportunity, will we get this opportunity again? And I thought, as a young employee of this city, we've had a lot of opportunities over the years that I think that we missed out on because we weren't willing to take the chance. And now I'm in a position where I'm having to make that decision that I'm second guessing the prior council's forms. But I always go back to the standard of we represent the city of Gautier residents. I have to concede, though 50, 60, 70% of our sales tax over the term of this TID is a lot better than 100% of nothing. I do believe the project could set a foundation for economic growth and the future success of our city. I am very discouraged that our community at this point is divided. And I think we need to find common ground somewhere, be it that we table this agenda item and give the public an opportunity to get more information on it, possibly give the boards from Dr. Glaucus group, Singing River, and the hospital group, and the board of supervisors and ourselves to sit down and come up with a better solution that all Jackson County residents can live with and feel comfortable with. I don't like this form. I mean, I came here tonight trying to find more information out from more people. This type of form is very restrictive on what we can say. And we miss out on a lot of information that we need to move forward with an educated decision. This time, I'd like to make a motion that we table it till we get cooler heads prevail. We're able to sit down and discuss the issues without going back and forth, trying to tear each other down and try to come up with a solution. Before I complete my motion, I'd like to ask 2 questions. the doctor, once the doctor blocked it. If for some reason the certificate of need was to be appealed through the Mississippi Department of Health, would your group be willing to proceed with the latter phases of this project?
I don't know the answer to that right now. I've thought that.
Is there still any hope for negotiation with these other groups? If we were to table this? I make a motion to table this until the next. I think I can make a motion to table.
You can amend if somebody to table it, and then we would have to have a second and vote on the amendment and then vote back on the original.
Make a motion
We have a
on
motion.
the motion.
You can amend a motion, and if it passes, we move forward, but you can't, if he wants to make an amendment to a motion, he can make an amendment. We have one on the floor.
This is where we need an attorney.
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion that we table this until the second meeting, council meeting in June.
We have amendment by Councilman Elvin. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilman Anderson. Ms. Jackson, we vote on the amendment, correct?
To vote on the amendment,
Right,
which
first.
basically overrides the
Original.
original.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? It's 2-4, so that
Now
did
you
not
vote on
pass.
the original.
Now we're back on the original motion. I would like to say the city of Gautier welcomes new business. This project is the first-class development with commercial space for shops, restaurants, residential living, office, hotel, and medical services. We expect the legacy to spark commercial development along the Highway 57 corridor and the Highway 90 I-10. This area was designated as a medical corridor area over a decade ago by the city of Gautier, Mississippi. The tax increment financing is a tool commonly used throughout the country to encourage economic development. The incremental increase in the sales and/or property tax is used to pay the debt service on bonds issued by the governing body to pay for specifically defined infrastructure, not for private facilities. The developer must front the funds needed to pay for the infrastructure improvements, such as roads and water and sewer. Then is reimbursed once completed. Once the bond is retired, the city will benefit 100% from the sales and property taxes generated by this development. An excellent example of this process is the Super Walmart at the intersection of I-10 and 110. TIF financing was used to encourage the location of Super Walmart in 1998. The bond was paid off in 2017. Look at the area now. Gautier has successfully used TIF funding in the past to promote economic development. We are excited about this development and look forward to working with many more developers and businesses interested in what Gautier has to offer. To the Gautier citizens, to the Gautier businesses, to the elected officials from Jackson County, my sister cities, the state of Mississippi, the state of Alabama, the state of Louisiana, doctors from all areas, medical staff of Singing River Health System, and medical staff throughout our whole region in this state, and the calls that I've received on a positive note, I want to thank all of you for your interest in healthcare and development as far as the TIF and moving Gautier forward. The Board of Supervisors and the Singing River Health System are asking us to do what is the pathway of least resistance for them instead of what is best for Gautier. In this case, they're not the same thing. This is a little twerpy town on the Mississippi Sound where we work hard, we play hard, and we're back at work the next day. We are open for business. We are business friendly, and will continue to grow Gautier together. Go Gautier. I want to remind everyone that this will not reimburse of any kind or any increase in taxes whatsoever to you within the city of Gautier, this TIF plan. Once again, I want to thank our city manager, Ms. Paula Yancey, for her tireless efforts to recruit economic development and use tax increment financing to recruit business of all kinds to Gautier, Mississippi. I also want to thank Steve Pittman, Ms. Sue Fairbanks with Butler Snow, who also worked with us and partnered to move this TIF project forward. To the developers, I want to thank you for your interest and your team for your interest in coming to Gautier, Mississippi, when you could go to Cooks Road on the Harrison County side of Jackson County and get all these benefits, because tonight the city of Biloxi is Harrison County and are voting on the same tax increment financing for this type of development, phase 1, at an exit on I-10. They could easily move this and be out of Gautier, and we have once again lost out. So, employees, retirees, my mother is a retiree of the Singing River Health System, and her payment is less every month. To the retirees that supported this and called me about your issues and concerns, I thank you for your dedication to Jackson County and to Gautier in providing us health care. Once again, I hope you all have a great evening, and thank you for coming, and God bless you all. Go ahead, Councilman Gordon.
I want to ask the city manager a question, and I want you to explain one more time. Item number 1, which is, and we just said establishing an area that can authorize a TIF plan, okay?
Yeah, you're establishing the boundaries of a district. It's called a TIF district, within which you can grant a TIF if you so choose to
If we
do
so desire.
Yes, sir.
Now, item number 2 was going to be development of a TIF.
The reimbursement redevelopment agreement, that is
And
kind of,
you have taken that off.
and I
of the
removed that, yes,
So
sir.
the only thing that we're gonna do tonight is establish an area that can
But you can grant,
utilize a TIF plan.
if you adopt one, yes, sir.
Okay. Item number 2 will be put on a future,
Yes, sir.
okay? And that possibly maybe will be negotiated or discussed with you and this Dr. Locke, and brought that back to us as to what that.
And Sue
development
Fairbanks
agreement would
and
be.
Steve Pittman, yes, sir.
So the only thing that we're approving tonight is a district.
Yes, sir.
A TIF plan.
Yes,
We
sir.
are not approving giving any money to anybody.
That's correct.
What's your question, Councilman Anderson?
Why did you approve the TIF just that one little
He's asking why this
There's a lot of
area.
background noise, I'm having a hard
Why,
time hearing.
why?
If you could please, if you're not, well,
If we're gonna do a TIF, why can't we do a TIF for all undeveloped commercial land? Why does it have to be just this little small district?
Well, That's normally how it's done. You create a TIF district, the boundaries of which, within which you can enter and grant a TIF for a development. But you are not agreeing to grant a TIF for a development tonight. Just like you did a special TIF back years ago when you thought Walmart and all that was coming on the mall property. You did it just on that property. You didn't do it for the whole city. That's not how it works.
We have a motion by Councilman College, a second by Councilman Jackson. All in favor? Motion carries. That brings us to business agenda item number 3, approval of an option to purchase real estate agreement between the city of Gautier and DD our city manager. Please hold it.
I'll go get camera. Thank
Welcome, Dr. Finley. Proud to have you here today.
Proud to be here.
The exhibits Mr. Colmer marked to the clerk, right?
Yeah, give what now to the clerk? I'm sorry, I can't hear what that goes.
Mr. Colmer marked 2 exhibits during his presentation. Do they go to the clerk?
Oh, sure. Okay. I didn't hear that. That's the board attorney.
Okay. We moving on. Business item number 3. Approval of an option to purchase real estate agreement between the city of Gautier and DB Bonder as we continue to move economic development in the city of Gautier. Ms. Yancey.
Yes, this just gives you an option to purchase, you know what I'm talking about, it's the little old dentist office, right as you enter the mall property. And this gives you the option to purchase it, if you so choose. So it's basically giving you the first option to purchase, first right to purchase.
Do we have any public comments on business agenda item number 3? Any public comments? No? Do we have a motion by council to approve the option to purchase real estate agreement between the city of Gautier and DD Bonder?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Glove, got a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman College. Any discussion? Start with Councilman George. No comment. Councilman Jackson. Councilman Glove.
I think it's a great piece of property, it's just a step in the right direction, doing something, and maybe it's small property.
Thank you. Councilman College. Councilman Anderson.
No comment.
Councilman Elwood. I just want to thank the city manager, the staff, and Ms. Dee Bonder, who her husband was a physician here in the city of Gautier, and her dedication to want Gautier to be a catalyst for economic development on Highway 90. And for her to be dedicated to us, to partner with us, to let this be a part of great things in Gautier, we greatly, greatly appreciate her thinking of Gautier first. Once again, we have a motion by Councilman Gilat, a second by Councilman College. All in favor? Motion carries. That brings us to business agenda item number 4, approval of the emergency repair of Brown Road sewer main as invoiced by Bottom 2 Construction by our city clerk, Ms. Teresa Montgomery.
Per statutory requirements, this is an emergency repair and it requires that it be spread across the minutes as such. So you just need to approve payment.
Thank you, Ms. Montgomery. Any public comments on business agenda item number 4? None. Do we have a motion by council to approve the emergency repair on Brown Road sewer main as invoiced by Bottom Two Top Construction?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman College, we got a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Elvin. Any discussion, starting with Councilman George?
No discussion.
Councilman Jackson?
No comment.
Councilman Gilat?
No comment.
Councilman College?
Once again, bottom to top, they seem to be our go-to person. They do a good job for us, thank you very much for taking care of this.
Councilman Anderson?
No comment.
Councilman Elvin? I just once again want to thank the city staff and also H2O for their hard work and dedication and partnering with Ramona Morgan, our Public Works Director, for y'all's hard work to continue to work to keep our infrastructure safe for our residents. We have a motion by Councilman College, a second by Councilman Elvin. All in favor? Motion carries. Business agenda item number 5, approval of the docket of claims. Our staff presentation was done online. It was attached to the agenda for anybody to review there. Any public comments on approval of the docket of claims? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the document, find that all entries thereon are true, correct, properly entered, and not fraudulent.
Motion by Councilman College, we got a second? Second by Councilman Gilat. Any discussion, starting with Councilman George? Councilman Jackson? Councilman Gilat? Councilman College?
No comment.
Councilman Anderson?
No comment.
Councilman Elder? Once again, Ms. Montgomery, we appreciate you and your department for making sure the bills are paid in the city of Gautier. Thank you for your hard work. All in favor? Motion carries. That brings us to our consent agenda. They're approved in one motion unless anybody wants to remove one. Does anybody want to remove any of the consent agenda items? Any board member? No. 1, approval of the minutes from recess council meeting held April the 16th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. 2, reappointment of Scott Ankerson, our planning director, to the Gulf Regional Planning Commission, GRPC. 3, authorization to acknowledge bids and award the contract for the Highway 90 sanitary sewer and water lines Singing River Mall project to Bottom to Top LLC. 4, approval of change order number 2 to decrease the contract amount for work associated with the completion of the Town Commons Park Phase 2 amphitheater. 5, authorization to enter into a professional service agreement with Seymour Engineering with work associated with Gautier Water and Sewer Improvement Projects, Section 592 Assistance Program. Thank you, Mr. Seymour, sitting out here. 7, approval of amendment to the comprehensive fee schedule for the Public Works Department. 8, approval to amend the comprehensive fee schedule for the Parks and Recreation Department at Shepherd State Park. 9, approval of the water and sewer adjustments for May 2024 in the amount of $18,112.85. 10, receive April 2024 privilege license reports. 11, approval of the First Amendment to the escrow trust agreement. Do we have a motion to approve consent items 1 through 11? Motion by Councilman College, do we have a second? Second. Second by Councilman George. All in favor? Motion carries. That brings us to our study agenda. It's discuss citizen comments. And you have 3 minutes to state your comment. How we handle that is you come to the podium, state your first and last name, and we will time you when it gets close to your 1-minute warning, and then we'll ask you to sit down. The sign-in sheet for citizen comments, if anybody is here and did not sign up and wants to speak because they were confused on what sign-in sheet, please raise your hand if you want to sign up right now. No. Okay. 1, Delamore.
Allegedly say you did not make those racist statements. I'm still on the same thing. You should have been got rid of him. The way he's talking tonight, because he's not for the city of Gautier. It's quite obvious. I don't know why he won't resign. He have all these questions about everything. The city is trying to grow. And people like that, we don't need him. He needs to resign. He have never, ever gave proof that that was not his Facebook page, that he said was hacked. He never filed a police report proving that it's not my page. So all I say over and over again, the city of Gulfshire is trying to grow. We have a great mayor, city planner, mayor should doing a great job, but then you got people like you sitting up there getting my taxpayer dollars to do nothing. You need to resign, Rusty Anderson. Stop trying to hold the city back. I'm tired, good night.
Chairman Mayfield.
Good evening, Jerry Mayfield, 2730 Camino Brand, right here in Goshen. I'm here, I don't know what protocol is here, but I have a couple of photos that I would like for the audience to see.
Camino Brand, that's my own.
And I have 3 that you can pass them down.
Okay, me and you talk.
Yep.
I appreciate you.
It saddened, it actually saddened me that I would be standing here with my time. But with due respect, for over the past 40 years, that's at the corner of Camino Green. 4.5 years ago, someone ran into the sign and knocked it over. I begged, pleaded, spoken to my alderman, spoken to the code enforcement. By the way, to give them a very big shout out, they do an awesome job. Miss Chandra here, I think if I mispronounce her name, I apologize, but she sits here, awesome, she's helped me. I didn't get the opportunity to speak to you, Paula, but I did speak to your office and they were extremely helpful. Everybody's been helpful, but over 4.5 years, we still do not have a sign. Now, before everybody tells me all the great things you want to tell me about how this works, be aware, I was the city department head in the city of Ocean Springs, and I worked there for 28 years. I know the process. It takes a simple purchase order, and I know the alderman get discretionary funds. So,
We don't just make it, we're not like Ocean State.
okay, so you're councilman, let me back
We
it up.
don't run.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do not get discretionary funds, but you do have a budget, and you do have councilmen. So you do have an opportunity to step in and say, I'd like to see this done. I've seen all of the great things that have been done in Gautier. Big shout out to Highway 90, because working in Ocean Springs, I brag on you guys all the time. They got sick of me bragging on you because I said it was a pleasure to ride in Gautier. And the median looked so good when we got Ocean Springs. It was bad. So we're doing a wonderful job here. Okay, but please, when am I ever going to get the sign? Just safety like Forrest, I don't have to have a special brick or anything, knock the bricks down, just put me a wooden sign that says DR Forrest.
Help me out. What is the next?
It's off of Lanier Road.
No, I know,
It says.
in this one we just went and looked at, like last week, I went last week and looked at 2 signs. I thought this looked familiar, but you said Camino Grande, it threw me. Yeah, so we went and looked at it last week to try and come up with what the solution would be. Scott and I, just when you were talking about it, I saw the picture, I thought it was the same one. But he put me in the truck and we went and looked at it.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, but 4.5 years, I know my time, I'm probably like less than 30 seconds. So you know about that, Mr. Jackson will address that. Brown water, are we ever going to do something about brown water? My granddaughter was 20 years of age, and they always came and had brown water in my bathtub. And they came one time and I put everybody in the bathroom like, rah, this, what, that. And we had clear water. That was one visit. And that was 6 years ago. And I had clear water for maybe 30 days. And then they came back. I'm back to brown water. $84 a month? Yeah, but, we're going to recruit new businesses. It's hard to entice people to come here when you're telling them you can't even wash the water because Clorox will not help you. I'm
Your
not.
time is up.
Okay,
So
thank you very much.
we can, and you can speak with your councilman and then.
I've done that. I'm not going to do that Thank you all.
I'm going to go ahead and answer her real quick because to make sure everybody understands the history of it. So I actually a long time ago, I addressed this issue And then they said, well, we can't find, I was speaking with Scott, we can't find a contractor. I went and found 2 contractors. We still didn't get it done. Then I talked with Scott. Then this is over a period of time now. I'm steady finding contractors and things like that. And then Scott explained to me, he said, well, now we switched up. They're going to do it in-house. We still didn't get it done with in-house. So I don't want you to think that anybody think for a minute that I was slacking on this. I was pushing this the whole time. That's why I'm interested in it now, because, you know, and which is, I'm not throwing Scott under the bus, because, you know, he did speak to him. No, I wouldn't do that. I'm not, you know, I'll take full responsibility, because I have to still stay on him. But at the same time, Scott apologized to me, like, look, me and him talked, and he also talked to you as well. And because you called me and talked, because she got my number, and whenever something going, she definitely calls me. And I try to address everything that she sends my way. But I just wanted to make sure everybody understood. I didn't just sit here, because I don't believe in sitting here just doing nothing. I believe in going out and doing what I'm supposed to do as a council member. That's pretty much how I want to do it.
There's a few of us on council that know how long it takes.
Just, am I going to get a sign?
We are working, and we will work the city manager and the planning director, Councilman Jackson, and then if we need to go get solicit donations to help you get a sign, or a neighborhood adoption or something, we will get you a sign. You will get a sign. I can
Well, now the other thing is, if they don't get the sign, I do know how to build a sign, so I will be.
And it also relates to budget items, but Councilman Jackson will work on your behalf with the city manager, planning director, and we will work on the sign.
So one quick.
Because there's more neighborhoods than this. Okay, y'all. Okay, we're moving forward. We're gonna.
Just real quickly, one last thing. Who handles the money side of, do I need to be speaking with Ms. Yancey? Because the money side is the person I need to really talk to.
No, you need to speak with Ms. Yancey. She runs this city and our local government.
Me.
She runs, Ms. Yancey right here is our city manager.
You can call my office if you would like.
That's all. Thank you.
You're welcome. Richard L. Jackson.
Richard L. Jackson, 4548 Elder Street, Moss Point, Mississippi. First Vice President, Moss Point Branch, Jackson County NAACP. In Mr. Curtis Clark's absence, who's our president, I am Joe. I'm here about the comments from Councilman Anderson. 1 year ago today was my first time here. 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King stated, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Spring break last year, you had a group of college students who were there to enjoy themselves. They put a title on it that made it say Black Spring Break. Spring break, no matter who's there. They had other nationalities there. In the midst of all of that, they had an unfortunate incident, policeman got shot. However, through the investigation, it was determined that no college student had anything to do with it. But a post was made that was attributed, allegedly, to your page, Mr. Anderson. Throughout this year, I have been quite lenient. I believe in this city. I had other options. The Montgomery boycott, which also lasted a year, brought the city of Montgomery to its knees. I caught a lot of flack for not doing it, because I believe in this city. And tonight, I was proven right. So I wish you guys the best. This is tribute to you, Mr. Anderson, that's why I'm here. Those students have borne the brunt of the alleged post attributed to you and attributed to them. And when they came back this year, not only were they treated unruly, but they brought their parents along with us, just, you know, so if something went wrong, their parents were treated wrong. Nowhere in there has anybody apologized. We are 38% of the people in this state. We are 13% of the people in this country. we generate $4.3 trillion. Now just imagine if 2% of that was saved, which would be over 160-some-odd billion dollars. See, because those kids gonna be future doctors, lawyers, nurses. Y'all talking about building businesses. The people who are actually gonna work there weren't even here tonight. Most of the people in here over 40. So somebody has to make a tone for this thing, or y'all running potential employees away. I mean, we really got a chance to talk. And I think I treated you pretty fair, correct? And I know you said you hadn't done it. But somewhere along the way, we need to find common ground so we can put this behind. Because as you guys can see, your city is moving forward. This is an anchor. And I just hope we can cut it up here. All right, thank you.
Charles Moore.
My name is Charles Moore, I live in 1940 Parkway, Gautier, Mississippi. I've been really asking, West Rams to step down, Councilman West Rams to step down for over a year now. He hadn't did it. The city look good, the program he brought here, the doctor brought here today, the best program, this is money for Gautier. This ain't no money for OG Spring, this is Gautier money. So that's what we need to do. I don't know why y'all against them. We need to go forward, not back. What's down, when we're not going to the sign, you need to go ahead and put your head in and say, look, I'm gone. Go fishing.
James. It's two people, so I'm gonna call one first. And is it James and Jody? And I apologize, it's R, is it something B-I-S? Ravis or Rovis? They didn't put an address. I don't wanna miss out on somebody. It's James and Jody. Is James and Jody here? You think they left? Okay. That brings us to Don Smith.
Can I ask a quick question? Is Jimmy Purvis here? No Jimmy Purvis?
No.
Okay, I don't need to speak tonight. I was just backing him up and hoping he was here.
And I see your issue, and you can give your information. I got your phone number, Ms. Yancey will call you or myself regarding that issue.
That's fine.
Okay, or Councilman Gillette, because it's in this. John, it's regarding Lakewood Estates, that it's a private-owned lake, and that's what his comment is here regarding the lake and the drainage, so. Bonnie Cumbie. She's not here. Or Renee, I'm sorry, Renee, it looked like a B with the O. Barbara Jones.
She commented earlier on the other.
Okay. Billy Booth.
Good evening. Billy Booth, 1405 Hillcrest Street, Gautier, Mississippi. Before I begin, I just want to thank Mayor, Council, and staff for what you go through. I do realize you do not get paid enough, so I do want to thank you for that. I have two issues. First of all, as most of you are aware, the next show at the Sound Amphitheater is May 24th, the same night of Gautier's graduation. And I'm sure our city manager and staff and council have been talking, planning for this. I just stand today to ask that you make it a public announcement to ensure that our 24 graduates will not have their historic ceremony disturbed by the concert. Because we've already experienced sound travels, so much so that it did affect the baseball playoff game. I know that the city's been planning and for this scheduled conflict, but I would recommend that the concert take an intermission
during the 8 o'clock hour of graduation and not to have any disturbance. And then my second concern is with Councilman Anderson, my councilman, still not addressing the racial Facebook post that, according to your attorney, was on your Facebook page. It's been over a year, and all he has done is duck, dodge, deny, and deceive. Today makes the 3rd meeting out of 9 meetings this year that he has physically attended. But yet, you have continued to allow our tax dollars to pay his salary. I again call for Councilman Anderson to adequately address this matter and ask for the council, manager, and staff to figure out a resolution to this and to develop a mechanism that can help prevent this from happening again.
Renee Brown. Renee Brown. Gautier City Road, 5080. And Mr. Booth, to answer your question about the sound amphitheater and the graduation, when it was immediately brought to our attention, Ms. Yancey, we spoke with the school district and also with Ms. Yancey. They went out there, they tested it. One concert, they couldn't hear nothing. One concert, they could hear something. So the promoter is aware of our school year calendar for next year. And also Ms. Yancey has talked with the superintendent about the sound amphitheater, and we're working the best we can in the situation that's been provided to us. Okay, so just so you know, we have been in contact to make it the best as possible for the situation we're in. Okay, that brings us to council comments. It's the first meeting of the month, so we start with Councilman George.
I have no comments.
Councilman Jackson.
Yeah. So, when we were speaking earlier, addressing the tip, I didn't want to say anything just yet because I didn't want to conflict with the way the mayor structured it by saying we would speak directly on the tip. I was hoping that he's still here where we can address that issue. Because I spoke with these people, and I just want y'all to be comfortable knowing that we made a great decision with what we're doing to move forward to bring business in the city of Gautier. Because I spoke with them, I gave them information that would be beneficial to the Singing River system, but they're not interested in utilizing something like that. So what I told them, but they talked to me because they spoke with me, and I told them that wouldn't it be beneficial with the Obamacare? I said it a little roughly when I was talking, but I'm just explaining to you all. And I said that the state did not want to vote to have Obamacare in the state of Mississippi. So that would have benefited you in all the people that you need to pay their bills. So the whole problem with that is they're saying that they're losing 2.7 million in people leaving Cedar River to go to another entity. But then at the same time they're saying that they're losing money because they're only keeping the people who are not paying. So there are people that are not paying their bills. And so I said if they would accept the Obamacare or some type of health care for the state of Mississippi, that would have curbed that. And you would have tens of millions. This wouldn't even be an issue, this 2.7. This wouldn't be a discussion. And they understood that. And they knew that I was talking, they agreed with what I was saying. It would have helped out a lot because everybody would have health care. But instead of these coming to negotiate, arguing to negotiate, you should go to the state and argue with them about health care because your state, instead of accepting health care, they looked at the person that was giving it to them. And then they also went by party line because I even said to them, I said, if it came by party line for me, and it was up to me to accept from a Republican, millions of dollars that is gonna benefit the citizens. I'm not turning it down just because it came from the Republic. I'm gonna accept the funds and take care of the community and take care of the people. So instead of addressing it, I didn't want to address it like that earlier because it was strictly talking about the TIF. So if they honestly were seriously about the money that they're missing, they would go to Jackson.
Yep.
And I have nothing else to say.
Thank you, Councilman Jackson. Councilman Gautier.
I sit here in this meeting tonight, and this thing, we can't go past 9:30 without starting over. This way.
That clock's off, by the way. Don't be looking at
I've been talking to-
that. Oh, I was gonna say,
Stop.
yeah, don't be looking at that one.
It hasn't been changed since we changed the time. What this meeting tonight reminded me of a game that kids play, and it's called Whack-A-Mole. And it was nothing but whacking a mole in this place tonight. I have nothing else to say.
Councilman Collins.
Well, I think I made used a lot of my time up earlier, so I just want to thank city manager, her staff, and everybody that helps the city move forward. Thank you for all your hard work and your diligent efforts in moving the city forward. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Collins. Councilman Anderson.
Thank you, and I'll second you on that. I want everybody to understand that I'm not against the development of that park on 57. Totally far. All I was against was the lucrative tax TIF for the medical part of it. I think they built the thing whether they gave a TIF or not. The ends were built without a TIF, didn't even ask for a TIF. But I am not against economic development in this city. I'm for it 100%. Always will be. I was just against the TIF, the way it was presented for the medical part of the complex. That's all I got.
Councilman Elvin.
I want to thank all the employees for the work you do each day. Clear water, not clear water, H2O, Waste Pro. I worked with them so long, but you do a great job, and I thank you. I see you all out there on the weekends. But the employees stuck it out tonight. Sorry your salary, but it is what it is. I do want to thank the employees for what you do each day. We can't run the city without you. That's all.
Thank you, Councilman Elvin. What a night, Gautier. I feel like recruiting business last week when I left Gautier, Mississippi on Monday, and I traveled to Hattiesburg, I traveled to Jackson, I traveled to Central Mississippi, fighting and recruiting with developers for this city on my dollar, because the money I make as the mayor don't cover the car note, insurance, and a house note as a part-time mayor. My colleagues, I thank you for your hard work and dedication. To our city manager, Ms. Yancey works and is on call 24 hours just like us board members. And when I tell you she's been on the phone and I've been on the phone to retain development in this city and not to walk away and go to the Harrison County line because of a TIF, I can't thank her enough. Her husband sits here tonight. Thank you, Mr. Yancey, for allowing your wife to serve the Gautier citizens to make Gautier grow. And we appreciate you for supporting her. To the directors here, to our attorney, I thank you. I also want to say happy anniversary. Sitting here tonight and had to be here longer than normal for this public hearing. I want to say happy anniversary to Chief Ever and his wife, because tonight's his anniversary and he's given up his anniversary. So,
You got me.
Kim Sochet, happy early birthday.
Yay.
Your birthday eve, 2 weeks early.
Yes.
For spending the night here longer than planned when you could go with your friends. Thank you. I thank all of our directors. I thank all of our employees. You heard some mentioned tonight, Ms. Shanda Bain in the planning department. Public Works Utility, rainstorms, sewage, H2O, Waste Pro, Seymour Engineering, I thank all of you. Our planning commission members who are here, Josh Ward and Miss Casey Jamison. I don't think Ms. Mamanix was outside and couldn't get in, and I think left earlier, but she was here. Thank all of you, even the ones that are not here, for your volunteerism. Miss Dorothy Shaw sits here to my left. You heard speak this evening, lives here in Gautier, retired from Huntington Ingalls, dedicated her life here to Gautier and is committed to move Gautier forward. I thank her for her volunteerism on our Civil Service Commission. To our citizens, I thank you for your words of encouragement, for your messages, your emails, your texts to support a TIF and economic development here. Decades ago, Target was looking at Gautier, Mississippi and walked because not being business friendly and not working at all. Yes, we all have to work together, but at the end of the day, it is about Gautier, Mississippi. We have healthcare employees, some still here, that work in the healthcare industry that could not because they were scared of losing their job because they have been intimidated. How dare them have to feel that way in the workplace environment? To you, I thank you for standing strong. Once again, I thank all of you. Gautier is on the move and Gautier is growing. And I am proud to be a part of it and represent you and to be your voice. I once again want to thank my fellow colleagues and elected officials throughout Jackson County who called with words of encouragement and support from a state and local level. Once again, I wish you all the best week as we move forward and journey on to create development. Our special call meeting earlier tonight was with the developer to go help us move this city forward. So I thank you. And Ms. Yancey, your roses were beautiful and they were deserving on today by your forgiveness. And that's all I have to say. God bless you all. That brings us to our city manager comments, city clerk comments, city attorney comments. Do we have a motion to recess until May 21st, 2024 at 6:30 p.m.? Motion by Galat. Do we have a second? Second. That's second by Councilman Jackson. All
That's Karen.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Mr. George, we'll talk to you. We already got a motion and passed citizen comments, but you can talk to us. We got a motion by Councilman Galat, a second by Councilman George. All in favor? We're recessed until Tuesday, May 21st, 2024 at 6.